All right, here today with Eric Peterson, and Eric is a realtor. You're a realtor in Cedar Park, right?
We're in Austin, but we work Cedar Park area also.
Okay, great. And the reason for this video call is to talk about some advertising you were thinking about doing, correct?
Correct.
Awesome. So you had contacted me based on a just a short video assessment I did of some other physical advertising, and you had asked some questions about some stuff you were planning on doing. So why don't you run through your goals for this advertising, uh, and then we'll talk through some of the physical aspects of it.
Sure. Okay. So my wife and I own our own real estate company. It's called Kopa Real Estate, Kopa Real Estate. And we were presented with an opportunity to advertise in a neighborhood magazine that's going to go out to about 4,000 homes in Avery Ranch, which is where we live and where we do a lot of business in this area.
Right.
And so, me personally, I've never been a big fan of print advertising. I don't know that we're going to get a ton of calls off of it. But what I'm hoping for is that, particularly because we're our own company, that it gives us a little bit more of brand awareness if we're talking to somebody, that they might have known who we are and might be more receptive than if they just hear me say, okay, we're with Kopa Real Estate and they've never heard of us and don't know who we are. So my thoughts are almost of using this as sort of a marketing body blow, so to speak, where it's not necessarily going to be the knockout punch where someone's going to call me right away, but something that might just soften up a potential customer and make them know who we are. So the magazine will go out, free magazine, goes out to 3,800, 4,000 homes, somewhere in that range every month.
Nice. So this is not just a single one-off advertisement. This is a repeated endeavor. This is something you're going to do often.
We're going to commit to doing it for 2 years.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going into this with open eyes. That I know that we're not necessarily going to get a ton of phone calls anyway, but probably not necessarily off of that first one, that it takes a while for people to see you. Our ad will be on, it may not be that exact same spot on that ad that I sent you, but there'll be a page that's like a featured home of the neighborhood every month, and our ad will be on that page.
Okay.
So, hopefully there'll be 2 other realtors advertising. One has the back page, also has another half of a page ad, and then we'll have this quarter page ad, but it'll at least be on the same spot in the magazine, roughly, so to speak.
Right.
And hopefully it appeals if somebody is reading that real estate article, maybe they're interested in real estate more than somebody else might be.
Right. So, and so it sounds like you're really appealing to buyers with this ad, correct?
No, not necessarily. No, actually, probably more sellers. I mean, because it's going out to people who are already homeowners, or it would be going to people who are renters. But probably we haven't come up with what the exact ads are going to be. It won't really start. It wouldn't start until January or February of next year. We haven't even gotten to the point where we would design the ad. But the intention would be more to we really want to be selling more homes in the neighborhood. We do want to be helping buyers as well, but this advertising is probably more effective for people who are looking to sell a house. Now, we might, as part of this ad, we might advertise the homes that we've sold. Because sellers of homes are always they always see that as a good thing if somebody is actively working with buyers in the neighborhood.
Right.
Even if it's not really what we really want to be marketing their house, but somebody will see that we're active in the neighborhood and that we are working with people who are moving into the neighborhood as well. So that's kind of an effective way of doing it, but we haven't come up with that way. But I would say that I would be more disappointed if we attracted more buyers than sellers. The real intention is sellers from that.
Okay. The reason I ask is because your placement is what would appear to me, and I'm readily admit that I could be wrong on this. Your placement is going to go for the featured home,
Mhm.
which to me that seems like that's talking to people who are interested in buying in Avery Ranch.
Um, you know what? It's probably more the person who's reading that is probably more of a nosy neighbor type of a thing, where people just want to see what the houses are more than somebody who's going to buy that house because they saw that article about it. They're from their advertising standpoint will probably be selling that spot or however they're going to do that
Right.
as though people are going to want to buy the house because they see it there.
Mm-hmm.
But the chances of that happening are pretty slim.
Right. Right. Okay. So I will tell you from I've dabbled in real estate. I was licensed at one time, never really sold a lot or anything, but so it's on my radar. And I think probably a lot of people are like that. But in either case, I will tell you that it's always been impressive to me. Anytime I've seen uh, we sold 38 houses last month or whatever it is. That's something that really sticks in my mind. So that really could. I mean, you talked about advertising with how many homes you've sold or listed or whatever, and I definitely think that could be a good strategy for you. Have you thought through any other messaging beyond that?
You know, so some of the things that I thought about were pictures of us with clients who have either bought or sold homes in Avery Ranch.
Yeah.
So in particular, the other two realtors that are advertising
Uh huh.
don't do any business or don't do much business. I think the two of them together have each sold one house in their lifetime in the neighborhood.
Okay.
You know,
Well,
and
that's a good
so
competitive advantage.
they're going to be relying on more somebody picking up the phone and calling them.
Yeah.
That isn't. I don't know how effective that will be, but so I think our ads are going to more appeal to, and also we're the only ones who lived in the neighborhood. So I think our ad will probably be drawn up, you know, something like, you know, that advertising that we live here,
Yeah.
advertising that we do business here. There's
Right.
a little bit of a limitation of what we can do on only a quarter of a page of an ad.
Right.
So it'll probably be a big part of it will probably be just our logo and our picture. That'll probably be, because again, there's only so much you can do as a call to action, I think, on some of this print advertising that
Sure.
if my feeling is that I worry too much about using calls to action and trying to get business driven directly from this, that I'll lose out on the opportunities of just branding the company.
Sure.
And so it's something that I really have to think through that
Right.
whole side of it. You know.
Well, I think that I like to use like assumed calls to action. So if I say we've sold 37 houses here in the last year, we live in Avery Range, we sold 37 houses here in the last year. Or I live here, I sell. We live here, we sell here, that kind of thing. Those are all. There's no call to action there, but there is an assumed one. There's an implied call to action because that's going to speak. That's not going to speak to somebody who doesn't want to buy or sell a house. It is going to speak when they start thinking about it. Because if they keep seeing that ad, we sold this many houses last, and especially if you, I mean, I'm not saying that it's a good strategy for cost reasons because they may not let you do that. But if you could, we sold 37 houses last month. We sold 20 houses last month. Obviously, those are just made up numbers. I'm just throwing numbers around. But the point is, if you've got a thing where, hey, we live here, we regularly sell here. I don't know if you want to go as far as to say we're the only real estate agents who live here and sell here, that kind of thing. That's another one that that there's an implied call to action, but it also is a kind of a thing that a differentiation point.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll. You know, they probably won't want us thumbing our nose at the other two advertisers. But, that's my guess.
The guy on the back page is nowhere near as good as me.
But I like the implied part of it. You know, something like that. If the other two are not showing that, then I agree. I think people might infer at least that that's
sure. And it's a long play, like you said. You know, it's a 2-year commitment. So over 2 years, this is the osmosis idea. I just want to float out there and just meet the right person. And then probably you're going to do door hangers and other things like that, or whatever else you do to get your name out in Avery Ranch.
Yeah, we have pretty distinctive open house signs that we can
Nice.
put up on the on the main road. And we are going to be doing other, we do Facebook advertising, we do other marketing. So there again, we're not planning on just this,
Right.
but it's one component of the overall marketing in the neighborhood.
Right. And I knew from our previous conversation that that's what you wanted to do. And I think that's really smart. I think the mistake people make with print ads is that they, like in the video I talked about before, that page is just a horrible place to advertise because where it is in the place that you turn, and there's no content on that page. And then your eye, we read top to bottom, left to right. So you always have to keep that in mind. I like the fact that it sounds like you're going to be on bottom right of a quarter page ad.
It's going to kind of float around. It could be bottom left, bottom right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, any toward the bottom is always going to pop a little bit more. And especially if you keep it simple. That's the other mistake so many people make. I pointed that out on that video. There's one guy in there. I mean, he had probably 37 details on an 8th-page ad. And, nobody's going to absorb that. You're going to look at that and your brain doesn't differentiate any of it. But if you keep it simple, like you said, have a nice logo, then you have a short, but clearly able to be read, readable. Some people like to say readable, short statement. And then you can have smaller under that. But don't make everything the same to where everything just looks the same. There's no importance then. Your brain is not given any importance. But what you're talking about, it sounds like what you're going to do is do a brand, an important statement, and then you can have a phone number smaller below that because, again, this is the long play. And it's a really nice companion strategy to this other stuff you guys have going. So I think that's going to work really well for you.
I hope so. We've decided to do it. So, we decided over the weekend.
Nice.
We'll give it a shot. And,
I'd love to check in with you every 6 months or so, just see how it's going and what your expectations are and how that is being met or whatever.
Okay. Yeah, definitely.
And this is the neighborhood magazine, so this is the only one that goes to all the houses?
Right. We've previously had a magazine that was sent out by another company who's doing something similar.
Okay.
It's not very good. And so this will look a lot better, and it'll probably just replace that other one.
Great.
At some point, if not now. That's what's happened in other neighborhoods.
Gotcha.
This is much more of a this is being run by the woman who is running that meetup where I saw you.
Okay.
A week or two ago, right?
Yeah. Okay, great. That's really great. Yeah, she really seems to have a good handle on everything and seems to be really professional. So it sounds like you're working with a good person there.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Well, that sounds great. I look forward to hearing more from you, and have a great day.
Okay. Hey, thanks.
Absolutely.
All right, I'll see you.
All right.